Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. As you can see today I am doing a review of the Derwent Pastel Pencils. Now unfortunately I have the Derwent Pastel collection, okay, but I'll quickly show you what's in the collection, but I'm only doing a review of the actual pencils themselves, and I'll go through all the different things with regards to that. So as you can see, this is a 38 pastel collection, and basically this is kind of like a tester. If you're just new into pastels, this is probably a great set to get. You have your kind of like little sanding block. You get a sharpener as well and an eraser. It's a pastel related sharpener, but you know, sharpeners are a dodgy thing with pastel pencils. Then you get these blocks as well, so you get a selection of blocks, and then you get the pencils, as you can see here, and then right at the very end you get a blending stump, a paper blending stump, which you can obviously use whenever you are blending. But as I said, today this review is just of the pastel pencils, so just let me bear with me a second while I move the collection out of the way and just set up the pencils. Okay, so I've just got the pencils here right in front of me. Now let's we'll go through the pencil first of all, the information that's on the pencil. So okay, so as you can see, the pencil itself, the shaft of the pencil is this beautiful burgundy colour, and if we work our way from the front to the back, so in other words from the tip of the cord to the back of the pencil, on one side you have England here, which is where the Derwent company is located, in beautiful Keswick. Then further on down you have the name Derwent, which is obviously the company name, and then you also have the fact that it's a pastel pencil written on there as well. Then towards further on down towards the end of the pencil, you have the color name, and there's also a alphanumerical code there, which is obviously corresponding because these pencils do come in open stock. And then you have kind of like this this diagonal flash right on the very end, and that indicates the pigment that's in the pastel pencil. So it's quite striking all in all, the way the pencils are laid out. But it's this beautiful burgundy colour as well that sets these pencils apart, I think. Now the thing about pastel pencils, I only got into pastel art about 8 months ago, and I've watched lots and lots of various different types of pastel artists, and I've learned from various different artists that some people just cannot stand the texture, the feel of like the pastel blocks and the mess that can be accumulated from that, whereas other artists, they absolutely love it, and that's what made them kind of gravitate towards pastels, because of the mess and the fact that they get their hands dirty and stuff like that. So for the artists that are kind of like more inclined to stay away from pastels because of the mess and because of the perhaps the feeling in their hands, they don't like the feeling of the pastel dust, the chalky feeling in their hands, then pastel pencils are an excellent substitute for that. Now I understand that with pastel pencils you're still going to get the dust, you're still going to get a little bit of mess and stuff like that, but it's much more limited than what it would be with pastel blocks. Now as you see with the collection, you get pastel blocks as well, but with the Derwent Pastel Pencils, they come in their own sets, so completely unique. So they come in a blister of 6, there's also a tin of 12, there's a skin tone tin of 12, then there's you get a tin or a box, whatever you want, of 24. Then there's a tin of 36. There's a box set of 48. I believe there's a tin of 48 as well, but I'll have to double check that. And then you can get a tin or a box set of 72. So 72 is the the extent of this range. Now, something I wasn't 100% aware of, which when I spoke to Derwent about it, obviously it is the case, that pastel pencils have a Lightfast rating as well. Now, I don't know why that surprised me, but nevertheless it did. I'm Irish, I'm allowed to be silly from time to time, stupid in fact. But obviously it's a pigment, it's a colour, and so therefore there has to be an element of lightfastness to it. I understand that when pastel artists are doing their work that they can fix it with fixative and stuff like that. Some pastel artists prefer not to use that method. I read one very, very prominent pastel artist, who I'm not going to name him, but he's a very, very prominent pastel artist here in the UK. He had said that he once used a particular brand of pastel pencils, but he left that particular brand. It wasn't Derwent, it was another brand, and he left that particular brand because he found that in order to get the brightness, the vividness of the pastel pencils, that he had to fix the painting first and then go over it again with the pastel pencil, in order to get the brightness and the vividness of the colours that he wanted for his art. And that was something that he didn't like, which is what made him go to a different brand. But so I understand that these fixatives can have kind of like a light fast protection on them. And some artists say that with the pastel art, it's best to put a glass, whenever you're putting it in a frame, put a glass fronted frame. And I know some of these frames as well have UV protections and stuff like that, but nevertheless, I'm rambling, going off on a tangent. The Derwent Pastel Pencils do have a Lightfast ratings, and in actual fact the Lightfast rating is really quite good without the 72. I've put a chart up here, as you can see, of the Lightfast rating for the 72 pencils. And if you go across to the Art Gear Guide onto my written review, I break down which pencils are light fast and which pencils are least light fast, because Derwent say that their light fast rating goes up to 8, and so they say anything above 6 is rated as, you know, very light fast, and anything below, like 5 and below, is obviously not as desirable for pastel artists whenever they're doing their art. So you read into that whatever you want. If you're a pastel artist, you'll understand the significance of the light fast rating and stuff like that. Now, in terms of sharpening, pastel artists, they sharpen their pencils in many, many different ways, with blades, sharpeners. A lot of sharpeners don't work with pastel pencils. And I know, I'm going to show a pastel pencil here, and I know pastel artists are going to be screaming at the screen now and telling me that I am stupid and I should never have done this, but nevertheless, I've done it just to show, really, just to say that you can still get a significant point with a pastel pencil. And with these Derwent Pastel Pencils, as you can see, I was able to sharpen it into a really significant point. Now, I know this isn't how pastel artists would necessarily use their pastel pencils, but I'm just showing, it's just for demonstration purposes only. And I used the Derwent Super Point manual sharpener to get this point with these pencils. So it wasn't like a little hand sharpener, it was the manual crank sharpener, which I've put an image up of there for you. The rest of the pencils I just used, like as you can see with this one here, like an X-Acto knife, a blade or something like that. Most pastel artists tend to use this method because the pastels can break up, because it's such a soft medium. It can break up in a sharpener whenever you're sharpening it. So there is that reason behind it. Now, in terms of laying these pencils down, in terms of the softness or whatever, I'm just going to show you a test that I done. Now, it's similar to the test that I do with colour pencils, but not exactly the same. So just bear with me, I'll get that for you now. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got various different tests, and I'm going to have to zoom in for this because you need to see what the outcome of this is. Now, I've purposely for this demonstration, I've purchased decent pastel paper. This is Canson Me Tense, I think it's called. So it's a good pastel paper. I've been recommended this paper. So let me zoom in. Okay, so the top line here is just a light application of the pastels. This next line down here, I have blended or smudged that in with a blender. So this one here has been blended in with a blender. This one here, this line here, has been used with my finger. I can't leave my finger there just to demonstrate it for you. Sorry about that. And the bottom line here has been used with one of these smudgers or color sharpener. These chisel things. These are very, very good. It's kind of like a, if you're not familiar with it, it's like a little rubber tip on it. And I love using these whenever I'm using pastels and pencils and stuff like that. But I might need to go zoom in a little bit more here actually to give you a better idea. So as you can see here, the little rubber thing seems to work much better. Certainly, I know some pastel artists, they kind of like say refrain from using your finger because of the oils in your finger and stuff like that. And then others say it's okay. But you can see the difference there in the various applications of laying this down. Now, I found, I was actually really quite surprised. I've used pastel pencils in the past, and they've been kind of quite hard and scratchy, but these were really soft. Now, I know that back in 2010, so if you tried Derwent Pastel Pencils perhaps before 2010 and you didn't like them, I do know that Derwent reconstituted their pastel pencils around about 2010 time. I was speaking to some of them from Derwent and they told me that. So if you've used pastel pencils, Derwent pastel pencils, prior to 2010 and you thought that they were hard and scratchy or whatever, then perhaps it might be time to try them again and see what you think, because it's a reformatted consistency that they have within their pencils. So certainly my take on these is that they're very soft. They're obviously not like the really soft blocks of pastels that you can get, the high-end ones. I done a review of a soft pastel not that long ago. The video you can find on my channel, but I don't like naming other brands when I'm doing a review of a particular brand, so you'll just have to have a look for that. I'll leave a link actually down below. But nevertheless, the pencils are remarkably soft whenever you take into consideration that some pastel pencils can be really hard and quite scratchy. Now, one or two of the colours were a little bit harder than others. For example, in these little tests that I done, the yellow and the blue were significantly softer than the green, and the red was softer than the green as well, but the blue and the yellow were much softer. So I don't know whether that has something to do with the pigment, or how it's binded together, or whatever it is, but that's just how it felt to me. This particular green colour seemed a little bit harder than certainly the blue and the yellow. So if you have a little look down here as well, okay, so I kind of like, I did like a little bit of a blending test here. So not so much up here. I just put the three colours down to let you see what it's going to be like. So I put the red and the yellow here and got this nice orange. And then the blue and the yellow here to get this really nice green. So it gives you an indication of as to how they blend well together. And I felt that they blended very well together. There was no problems, no issues, nothing. And then the actual colours that I have in this 36 set, so you can see them here, but it just gives you an indication as to the vibrancy of the colours. from the pencils. So from left to right here, as you're looking at the screen, we've got burnt carmine, yellow ochre, yellow, French dark grey, marigold, Prussian blue, maroon, forest green, pale spectrum blue, burnt ochre, raspberry, sepia, Naples yellow, cyan, violet, pale pink, emerald green and olive green. And again, I'll zoom in a little bit here for you, but I think that for a pastel pencil that the colours are very, very vibrant. Now in terms of erasing and stuff like that, I'll just do a very quick test here now. So I have just an ordinary eraser, a final eraser, and you can see there that it erases quite well. But as far as pastels go, in any case, it erases okay. Okay, so that's my review for the Derwent Pastel Pencils, and to be quite honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised with how soft these pastels were. And don't forget, as I've already said, if you've used Derwent Pastel Pencils prior to 2010, it might be worth giving them another go, because like I said, they have been reformatted according to the person I spoke to from Derwent. It's kind of like a new ingredient or whatever that was put into them round about 2010 forward, so you should see a significant difference if you used them prior to 2010 and you try them now. I should imagine, obviously I can't say exactly what the difference is because I never used them before 2010, so I can't say for definite whether they were much harder back then or what the difference is, but I'm sure if you used them round about that time, you will be able to see the difference in them. So I would say if you're going to go out, maybe get the little 6 blister set, try them, and you should notice the difference, I'm sure. Anyway, that's it guys for this review. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I always appreciate your support and coming back constantly to these reviews. Don't forget, you can go across to the Art Gear Guide and see the written review of this. Like I said earlier on, I'll have a little bit more detailed information with regards to the light fastness of these pencils individually. But also you can go across and go across to Colour Pencil Magazine, the website, and have a look at some of the deals that are available over there for getting either an individual copy of the magazine or subscribing to the magazine. There's so much information available in Colour Pencil Magazine, including obviously my reviews, but more importantly than that, you have some fantastic featured artists put in display their work in the magazine, and there's so much other information. And not to forget, at the back of the magazine, there's always like a competition for you to take part in at the end of every month, so it's worthwhile going across. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram if you like. The links for that will be down below, but all the links for that will also be over at the Art Gear Guide. And so if you've liked this video, please share it, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. When you share the videos out, it just helps spread the awareness of the videos really, and gets it out to people that may not ordinarily know who I am or know anything about my channel, so it just helps spread awareness. Anyway, thanks very much guys, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video, and be safe and take care. Bye.